Good evening. We'd like to welcome you all to our monthly school board meeting, especially the kids and the teachers that we have here today. It's really good to see you. Before I call this meeting to order, I want to inform everybody that we are aware today there was a press conference in which the governor of Arizona pledged future support and funds for education. And we want to state as a board that we support continuing efforts to fully fund education and the children of our state, specifically this district. In calling this meeting to order, we would like to have a Pledge of Allegiance by Pamela Zardi, and afterwards I will offer the invocation.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Our Father in heaven, we're grateful to be here this evening. We are grateful for the opportunity to serve in our capacity as board members. We are grateful for the continuing turn of events towards our state leadership coming to the realization of the need to fund education and invest in the future of our children and recognize thy hand in such. We ask thee to bless these proceedings that we might be able to take care of our business at hand, that we will be led by thee to make correct decisions. We ask for thy guiding hand upon our administration, those members, and the members of our staff and faculty. We express gratitude for them and for their continued efforts in behalf of our children, and do so in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen.
I'll now entertain a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved. I second the motion.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Mr. President, we would like to request that we move item 6.4 to this portion of the agenda so that our visitors, our friends can be back on the road to the Valley concerning the bond resolution.
I'll entertain a motion to move 6.4 to the next item.
I move we adjust the agenda.
Second the motion.
A motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Item 6.4.
Mr. President, members of the board, good evening. Mark Reeder with Stiefel Nicholas. Very nice to be back up here with you this evening. We're your bond underwriter, as you recall. And before I open up, I wanted to congratulate the district on your successful bond election that you had.
Thank you.
As you know, we've been working diligently behind the scenes with Mr. Schubert, Mr. Housley. I wanted to thank them for all their hard work and effort to get us to this point, but we're now in a position, if you approve the resolution this evening, to move forward with the sale of bonds. We had our credit rating conference call earlier this week. We expect to get our credit rating next week. We're feeling very good about that credit rating for the district. We're going to then be in a position to probably market the bonds, I would say, in about 2 weeks. And after we market the bonds and sell the bonds to investors, we're going to go ahead and close probably 10 days to 2 weeks thereafter. So we know you have lots of needs with your bond money, and we think we'll have bond money certainly within the next 3 to 4 weeks max. So with all that brief summary, there's a lot of documents that you have, and after I'm done, I'm going to have Jim Gill come up, your bond attorney, and Jim's going to walk you through the resolution. But just a couple of items on that front. There's one document in here, which is the official statement, which you have in your board packets. This is the document that we'll use to sell the bonds to investors. So if you have some time in your spare time, or if you want to go to sleep early one night, if you could peruse this, and if you see anything in this document that you think that we should correct or what have you, we're always appreciative of that. So I guess with that, I'm glad to answer any questions the board might have relative to the bond issuance process. And then if you, when you're done with me, I'm going to invite Jim up to walk you through the remaining resolution.
Anybody have any questions?
So I need to say this?
I have no questions.
I don't have any questions.
I have no questions.
Thank you.
Great, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mark. Mr. President, members of the board, Jim Gill with Gus Rosenfeld, the district's bond counsel. If you recall, I was your election counsel for the bond election, so congratulations on passing that. I know that's obviously good news for the district. You should have in your packets a resolution, a bond resolution, and I'll just take a couple of minutes just to kind of hit the highlights. This is a resolution authorizing the sale of school improvement bonds of the district in an amount not to exceed $10 million. It's also known as, it's an authorizing resolution, but it's also a parameters resolution in that it sets some parameters, the first of which I just mentioned, that $10 million. The other significant parameter is that the bonds, the yield on the bonds, which is sort of the all-interest, it's the all-in interest rate, the bond yield, won't exceed 6%. We expect it to be less than that, but that's just the max because we have to set a ceiling on this. And if you elect to go forward tonight and sell the bonds, you'll be selling them to Mr. Reeder's firm, Stifel Nicholas, using that preliminary official statement he showed you that I believe you have in your packets. That is the document that will be used to market the bonds. It is the district's document. Mark's firm drafted it. I reviewed it with the rest of the financing team and district staff. But if you guys get a chance, if the board gets a chance, it is good to review it because ultimately it is your document. And you know, there's obviously district information as to district finances, operations, and then also demographic information about your district, Show in particular. So if you get a few minutes, just take a look at that and give any comments to district staff, and they'll pass them through to Mr. Reeder. Back to the resolution. The bonds are authorized not to exceed 20 years, which is the statutory maximum. We also approve within the resolution some procedures that are important to satisfy the regulators. It's kind of a housekeeping thing, but we have tax compliance procedures designed to satisfy the IRS. It goes to matters such as how bond proceeds are spent, how they're invested before they're spent, kind of the details that are important. And we also have what we call continuing disclosure compliance procedures, and that's designed to satisfy the Securities and Exchange Commission. You're selling bonds on the public securities market, so there's the concept of ongoing disclosure. So bondholders, whoever might purchase your bonds, is allowed to get certain information on the district on an annual basis. So your CAFR will be uploaded to a federal database that any bondholder can, or any member of the public can get a hold of, as well as certain listed events. So if there's something significant in the district, whether it involves your finances or operations, you've also got to let the public know of that. There was a notion that with school bonds in particular, the smaller districts, the public didn't have a way to find information. So now there's a single database that anyone can go on, whether they own bonds or not, or just interested in purchasing bonds. So it's those sorts of details that are contained in the policies and procedures that we've attached to the resolution. With that, I'd be happy to answer any questions on the resolution or the bond process in general.
So at this point, do we make a motion to move forward?
That would be appropriate if you want to move forward.
So I'll make a motion to adopt the resolution authorizing the issuance and sale of school improvement bonds.
Yes.
Second the motion?
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion or questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We so appreciate your time. Two point two, NABIT presentation by Mr. Weber.
Good evening, Mr. President, Governing Board, and Superintendent Housley. Appreciate the opportunity to be here this evening. Just want to start out in my annual report by recognizing a few people. First of all, we continue to, I want to make special mention of Linda Lopman tonight. When I started in 1989 as a high school business teacher at Mogollon and Heber Overgaard School District, Linda was teaching here at the junior high school in Show Low, and she's been a mentor to many business teachers over the years. And so long before she became CTE director here, I had the pleasure of knowing her and learning from her. And we're gonna miss you, Linda. She's been wonderful to work with. We just really appreciate all that she's done for career and technical education here at the high school and working with us at NAVIT. We also appreciate Christine Martinez. She's your career technician. And obviously we want to recognize Calvin McNeil. I'm not sure, Calvin, thank you for being here. He serves on our board. He represents Show Low School District. We appreciate him being here. He's very faithful and helping us out, and so we appreciate his willingness to serve, because our meetings are in Snowflake, and even when he can't be there in person, he calls in, and we're pretty far flung. We have some board members that travel 3 hours round trip to Snowflake, so we appreciate Calvin and his dedication to helping us. Let's go ahead and jump forward there, Greg. I want to jump right to the finances, because that's always the most exciting part of this, is to get a feel for where things are going. This shows you from FY1 to FY18 how much money for your career and technical education programs that your district has been able to raise. And because remember, this funding that you see here is representative of your students in your career and technical education programs here at the high school. So if you notice, if we go back even just a few years there, the biggest fall that we took was from FY11 to FY12. Remember, that's when we lost the freshman money. And then as you move forward there, 271,316 in 14, 302, 284, and now we're back on the rise again. Take a look, you've got 284, 285, but look at the big jump from FY17 to FY18. That's all the way to 319,000. So that's how much money we estimate is coming back into your programs this year. So go ahead and go to the next slide there. So that 319,000, where's that being spent? That's being spent in your CTE programs right here at Show Low High School. Because you have to remember, why does NAVIT even exist? The first is to bring you that funding stream that we just looked at, and so that it can be spent in your programs right here at your high school. Now, on the next slide, it shows a list of additional career and technical education programs that NAVIT offers through NPC. So students do have the opportunity to take these 6 programs with the college. For those who have the time to be able to do that and make that choice, they're spending 3 hours a day, 5 days a week. And in most of those programs, they're 2-year programs. And so we appreciate your willingness to send students our way in these particular programs too. Wonderful opportunities, but not all the students have that flexibility in their schedule to come to the college. So go ahead and flip back to your programs, if you would, Greg. But this is where most of the action is right here at Show Low High School in those programs. We're proud to be able to have that money come back to you. As a general rule, just for your information, for what you generate in total, about 90% of that's being spent right here at the high school. And we're excited about that. We're excited to be able to bring that money to you. We've got some phenomenal programs here at the high school, and I also want to particularly recognize the Show Low CTE teachers. Most of them joined in this year with a project for curriculum development, and they jumped in the middle of that. We were willing to pay up to 80 hours, And most of your teachers did that. And I can tell you, you and Blue Ridge were by far the stellar districts in terms of teachers who are willing to take that extra time and refine some of their curriculum to match it up to standards and to have it align with newer equipment that you've been able to purchase. So I just want to say thank you to your CTE director, Linda Lopman, and all of your teachers there. I know each one of them individually. I'm on your campus on a regular basis, and it's a pleasure to work with you. That is a whirlwind tour of my annual update. So I just want to open it up to any questions.
I just want to tell you thank you for providing this opportunity where our kids can more fully blossom and have opportunities to do things they otherwise wouldn't be able to.
Thank you. Appreciate it. And appreciate working with Greg. Every time he sees me, he says, have you got a check for me? He knows what it's all about.
He says that to all of us too. So.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Item 2.3, Linden Robotics Science Fair recognition. Mr. Housley.
Yeah, Mr. President, we'll invite Mrs. Farnsworth and her crew of Robotics Club to come on up, and we'll turn it over to her to share the information.
Sorry, Hannah. By the way, they just presented.
Oh, awesome. That's great.
Okay. Hello, everyone. Today I've got a couple things to talk about. One is one of the things I always do in my class, and I got very involved this year, is with the County Science Fair. And I am proud to say that we had, 4 or 5 people out of my class won prizes. First of all, on third place, she's not here because she's sick, I had Cosma Kalahui, who observed how many hours a day a cat sleeps. And she won third prize. And then my other third prize is James Beecroft and Connor Harding. They were testing what kind of bait caught the most fish. And unfortunately, they got snowed out one day. But they,
I would have totally helped with that one.
Well, now you know how to call next year. Okay. And then my second place isn't here. She did a experiment on the absorbency of toilet paper. And she won second prize overall for material science. And then Tatum Moore, over here, won first prize for mutant plants. What she did was she irradiated some bean seeds and grew them to see what would happen, which is really important when you look at space. Can you grow things in space, in all the X-ray things? So these are my science fair winners. I'm very, very proud of them. And I think it's really a good percentage of winners. So I'd like everybody to. And then there's all the blue shirts. These are my Linden Robotics kids. We went to state. We said we'd come back and tell you what happened. We beat our goal. What was our goal?
Not to get last place.
Not to finish last, yes.
Second to last.
No, yeah, so we finished 25th out of 32, which is really awesome, considering some of the STEM schools and stuff, we were spend 40 hours a week, not 4 hours a week. So we did really awesome, and I'm really proud of them. And they put together this little scrapbook, which I just got tonight, so I figured I'd pass that around to see. The 2 years that we've been there, I think we've been pretty successful in what we've done.
That's excellent.
That is way cool.
So that's kind of, and got plans to continue next year.
Thank you so much.
All right.
Appreciate your time. Would you guys come up so we can high five you? Start with your superintendent there. Give him a high five.
While I'm doing this, I'm sorry I forgot to introduce this. This is Levi Owens, James Beecroft, Baden Mattis. There's Tatum, Ariana Snyder, Haley Beecroft, and Riley Hewitt couldn't make it. Congratulations. Congratulations.
Haley.
Thank you so much. Great job, guys. Moving on to item 2.4, recognition of high school academic wrestlers and spirit.
Mr. Adams, we'll invite Mr. Adams to come up and make these recognitions.
Thank you, Board President, Superintendent Housley. Tonight, we're honored to have our chair and our, I don't know if Mr. Jackson, are you out there? I don't see him. So we're going to have a chair. Our academic decathlon coach is out tonight. So they're going to get on the May board agenda. So I'd like to invite down Coach Cunningham and her coaching team, if they would come down, and also the high school spirit line and cheer. So come on down, guys. Mrs. Cunningham is going to run it from here.
Okay. So again, I have amazing, amazing athletes. I have to give them 99% of the credit. I really do. They work so hard. The hours that these young students, they all have to stay eligible to do this, and athletes put in is crazy. Crazy, crazy hours. And guess what? They're already back in the gym for next year. We already started doing some clinics to keep some of their skills on a safe level. They do great. I'm with this teacher. Don't come in last, and we're happy. Don't come in last, and we're happy. Yet they always rise far, far above that goal, and they are amazing. We're really hoping to see them at nationals this year, because we have been asked by several judges at our competitions, why don't you come to nationals? So that's really kind of where we're hoping to take this amazing team this year. And my coaching staff, obviously I would be nothing without the backup at all, and my parents. Everybody has to recognize a cheer parent. The amount of money, the amount of time that they put in, they've got a great parent or two or a grandparent or 10 behind them supporting those hours that come in at 10:30, pick them up from this, that, and the other. So they are definitely amazing, and they earned their title once again by a large margin. Oh yeah, this is a three-peat for them, by the way.
Be specific on those titles, will you? I don't think everybody's clear on the specific wins.
Okay. So when we go, our spirit line contains a poem team, a show cheer team, and a stunt team. And this year they took, again, like last year and the year before, the year before they took second in stunt and first in show. This year, last year they took first in stunt and first in show, and they did that again. So our stunt team took first, and so did the show cheer. So they're busy because a lot of these girls are on all three teams. So they're learning different routines constantly. Not to mention, oh, it's homecoming? Oh, new routine. And they learn it in a week. So they're constantly learning and changing and moving right along with the flow of cheer. At the same time, supporting all the other sports and athletes and kiddos at the school. So.
Congratulations.
Do you want me to introduce them all? We've got a few missing.
I would. And Ms. Cunningham, would you also let us know what the statement is on the back of their shirts? Because I think that's really great and apropos for the things we're trying to do.
Okay. And that is, thank you for pointing it out. One thing that we really try to get, they're a team. And without one member, we're kind of dead in the water. Doesn't matter if you're the cutesy on the top or the strong girl on the bottom. Without one or the other, you will not function. So it says, what sets us apart from everyone else is our ability to recognize we are nothing without each other. It's our,
I think that's great for our district, too.
Yeah. Thank you.
Overall. Thanks, guys.
We try to inspire that in our kids.
Will you introduce them and have them come?
Okay, we're going to go around and shake hands with the board, okay? So we have Miss Dylan Alsobrook, Chelsea Danes, Morgan Edwards, Katie Glennie, Destiny Stem, Kaylee Bell, Hope Lutens, Kylie Daly, Emma Clark, Melissa McNeil, Gracie Williams, and I know we're missing Teresa Walgursty, which is our one senior. She had to work. We have Marley Binney, Juliet Moreno, Natalie Webb, Audrey Whipple, they're all also in other sports. They go on to their spring sports. So they go from here to there. We have Rachel Lalivier, who's assistant coach, and Gabe Oya, who's our assistant coach.
Thanks,
They
guys.
both stay.
Thank you so much. Good job.
Thank you so much.
Way to go.
So where can they go see these performances? State the question if you will.
Take the baby.
Congratulations.
Yeah, I was gonna say, let me hold the baby for you. My wife would be so
You
mad.
can watch the performances online, especially AIA. They do the AIA365.org. It's always publicized, and at any Friday night football game.
I like the Friday night football game. That's good. Thank you again. Coach Cunningham, thank you very much. Appreciate it. Once again, is Jackson Allen here? Jackson Allen was going to be here tonight. He was a state champion wrestler. Along with Jackson was Weston Kime. Weston is at ASU today, going through his, what do they call it, the introductions, or so he's getting all that stuff with ASU. Jackson has received all sorts of accolades. I think ASU is right now recruiting him to be part of their wrestling team. So there's potential there for him to be, with ASU, who's in the top 8 in the nation in wrestling programs. So real honors there for our wrestling program and for Coach Williams. And Acadec will come and present their regional winnings and their state results in the May board meeting. Thank you.
Thank you. Moving on to item 2.5, recognition of legendary staff members. Mr. Housley.
Mr. President, members of the board, if you would go around to your normal position, we'll go ahead and recognize some of our teachers right now. So if we can have Mrs. Jaramillo, please come forward.
Well, I'm going to kind of follow up with Coach Cunningham in that we are nothing without this team. And it wasn't a team I could just pick one from, because it doesn't, like she says, it doesn't matter if you're at the top of this team or if you're the one holding everybody up. At Whipple Ranch, we could not function without this team of women. And this is our special ed group. They're all hiding back here behind me. And this is not all of them, but I want to introduce you to Carrie Williams, if she'll come up here. Delia Judd is not here. Sharice Schubert, Tori Marsh. Rena Del Sosi. Ashley is not here. Amanda Stabino. And Alicia Raniere. Did I get that right?
Alicia Raniere.
Yeah, Raniere. This group of women, and they are just amazing. Everyone carries walkie-talkies around our school. And so you'll hear, I need an aide down to room 2. And you'll hear across there, I got it. Or someone else will say, I'm over here. Someone steps over here, I've got it. And it's just an amazing group of women that we could not function without. I can't tell you how much they ease our burdens and lighten our loads. 3 of these gals I know for sure are going into education. Hopefully we're going to be hiring them in the next year. And they will absolutely make Sholo proud. So there they are, our special ed assistants. You have to go and shake everybody's hand and get a picture. Thank you.
Yeah.
You have to stay up here and get a picture. You have to get closer together. Tighter. Like you like each other.
Marshall.
No, that's Marsh. I'll take Marsh.
Yeah, okay. Schubert. Sneak behind you. guys.
Mr. Adams?
Right here, Krista, you get to be really embarrassed tonight by all these accolades. It's a great time. I personally love the legendary teacher program that Shola School District sponsors, and thank you, Superintendent Housley and members of the board. Tonight it is my honor to recognize Miss Krista Rask as the legendary teacher and staff member at Shola High School. And so I'd like to just take just a minute and share some things about Krista. And you know me, I always write these, because if I get orating, we'll be here all night. So I write them to be succinct, intentionally. So Mrs. Rask is legendary. There's no doubt about that. She is also smart, witty, humorous, never rattled. Do you agree with that? Never rattled. Insightful and a student's best friend and advocate. Teachers and staff refer to Krista as the all-knowing and all-doing. True statements. She knows everything. I refer to her as a stable force that stabilizes, that steadies and levels Shola High School. A quote on a Green Machine certificate that's on her wall, that's been there for a few years, says, "Okay, enough of the wisdom. Now just give it to me straight." And way to have an insight into everything. And that is Mrs. Rask. She's full of wisdom, she has insights, and she lays it straight out. I have never observed Mrs. Rask rattled. Part of her job requires that she will meet head-on with difficult situations that are surrounded with conflict. I am ever amazed as she carefully and tactfully and correctly manages these situations to win the hearts and the minds of all individuals involved. That is a talent. And I don't know how to state that in other words than what I just did. And that is very sincere and heartfelt. Each of us can learn from Mrs. Rask's ability to communicate and level the playing field in difficult situations. I've never seen her in the power struggle, where she's here with the attitude and someone else is below her. She levels that playing field and makes everyone equal so that they can communicate and solve. I am sure we're all aware that Ms. Rask is a guidance counselor at Shola High School. What most of us don't know is she's the director of teen court. She's the Shola High School testing coordinator, the dual enrollment coordinator, which is special education liaison for Shola High School, master schedule guru, and involved in numerous other events and happenings that are just too small and too many to even come close to mentioning. I could go on all evening. I want to thank Krista for guiding Shola High School through some difficult transitions, and like a rising star, has a department that today is shining, bright, and lifts the lives and the spirits of many. Thank you, Mrs. Rask. You continually inspire and challenge Shola High School students' minds. Respectfully, Farrell Adams.
Thank you so much. You rattled me.
Yeah, of course they can. On your report that you can have the drama.
Yeah, I got it.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Mr. Housley, I had another counselor to present tonight, but she had a wedding she had to go to, and so I am going to present her in another board meeting, if that's okay.
Yep.
Hands to tie.
Dr. Dorsett?
Good evening, Mr. Housley and board members. Today I have a super special teacher with us for Show Low Junior High School to recognize as legendary staff. Miss G. McMillan. We have her daughter there, which is Miss B. McMillan, so I have to make sure that I clarify. She truly brings magic to the classroom like I've not seen many do before. She reaches into kids' hearts. She reaches into the whole school's heart. She's got escape rooms going on, fancy, crazy book reports. I mean, the baked goods that come out of those book reports are amazing. And then she puts things on like talent shows, ISEP assemblies, just to celebrate student success. So she does an amazing job just of being the heart and soul, the sparkle of Show Low Junior High School. So when I ask staff, I have a long list. Like, they have a lot to say about you, and it's really good stuff. Paid them. So Glinda always goes above and beyond for her students and colleagues. She makes learning fun and exciting for her students while always holding them to high expectations. If you ever need something, whether it be help with project advice or just to pick me up, Glinda always has the time and the right words to make you feel like you can conquer whatever lies ahead. I feel truly blessed to work with such an expert teacher and incredible friend. Another said, as a new teacher, you are required to observe other teachers to learn the art of teaching. By far, the name that was mentioned the most by the other staff was Miss McMillan. When I observed her classes, I was certainly not disappointed. From inventive lesson plans to knowing her students and how to approach each of them on an individual basis, Miss McMillan more than deserves the accolades that her peers gave her. True that. Glinda was the first person I met when coming to Show Low Junior High in August of 2016. She was extremely welcoming and helpful getting me settled into the new school. She is quite legendary. She is willing to help out any other content area and has helped that math department by taking on low groups of GMS students. She has a way of breaking down the lower math skills to help them improve. She's got cards and dominoes and all kinds of games going on in that room. It's awesome. Glinda is a great staff member. She loves the kids and is always trying to make learning fun. She is often willing to help others in need. Glinda is amazing. And then I don't get to work with Glinda very much, but I know that she's a rock star. The kids love her, she is a leader, and overall she is a fabulous addition to our staff. Most definitely legendary. She is constantly working on things that would better our students' lives. And last but not least, the greatest compliment that I have heard about Miss McMillan is when high school students say, the reason I love to write is because Miss McMillan was my teacher. Thank you. Awesome.
Thank you. Thank you. It's so quiet in here. It's kind of creepy. Thanks.
Sorry, I got a wind advisory.
Imagine that.
Okay,
That would conclude our legendary staff. As you come back up here, I just want to tell just a little story on Miss McMillan's escape room. She did it Harry Potter themed this year, and she had a little area where the cages are, where the athletic equipment is, and she had it set up like a bedroom, and somebody thought we had a squatter in there and reported that we might have someone sleeping in there. That's how realistic it was. It's pretty great. So thank you. Appreciate your efforts.
Thank you all and congratulations. 2.6, superintendent reports to include comments on extracurricular activities, curriculum, and current events. Mr. Housley.
Well, I'm going to let the gentleman from the musical to come up and be my report this evening. Gentlemen, you like to come up and share with us?
First of all, introduce the play so people know the date and the times and the theme and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, so we are representing The Music Man, brought to you by Sholo High School, April 25th through 27th at 7 p.m. And April 28th at 1 o'clock and 7 p.m. as well. At the Sholo Auditorium, adults tickets are $8, seniors $6, students $5, and if you bring 20 or more people, you get $4 a ticket, $1 off a student ticket. Okay. I have with me the quartet. My name is Braden Hill. I play Harold Hill in the play. I have with me the quartet, Bo Williams, Matthew Jones, Price Moore, and Josh Kittle. And we would like to sing a song for you, if that's okay.
Of course.
All right.
You didn't ask me.
Yeah.
Good night, ladies. Good night, ladies. Good night, ladies. We're going to leave you now. Farewell, ladies. Farewell, ladies. Farewell, ladies. We're going to leave you now. Thank you. So just come see the play this year. It's going to be a good one.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Guys.
They can get
That was
tickets
great.
from Eventbrite or
Did you mention where the public can pick up the tickets? Is that on any Eventbrite event or?
yes.
They can't get them through Eventbrite. They can also purchase them at Loft Green Photography, I believe.
No, they're only, you can purchase them at the door at any of the 6 performances.
You want to state that they can purchase them at the door.
You can purchase the tickets at the door at any of the 6 performances.
Perfect.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
That's all my report. I
That's all your report?
can't follow that up.
Wow.
That was great.
You did a great job. Item 2.7 is call to the audience.
There was none.
We have no call to the audience. Thank you. 2.8, future board agenda items. Does anybody have anything they would like included on a future board agenda? Okay. Item 3.1, approval of overnight and out-of-state travel. Mr. Housley.
Mr. President, there is a request from the high school for Miss Cynthia Whipple to take the high school choir to attend the AMEA All-State Choral Festival at the U of A in Tucson. That's April 19th through the 21st. I would ask that you would approve this trip as outlined. There's also a request from Mr. Adams to have the fishing club take a trip to Lake Powell. That's May 2nd through the 5th, as well as Mrs. Ford with the junior high student council for their end of the year trip. That's to Rome by way of Sedona and Flagstaff. And then we also have a trip for the high school boys and girls basketball to coaches to attend the clinic in Las Vegas for our basketball coaches. We also have Miss Robinson taking the senior trip, our senior class trip. That would be May 20th through the 23rd. Corinne Anderson, she is the Sholo Junior High Odyssey of the Mines coordinator, and that travel is for World Finals competition of the Odyssey of the Mines in Ames, Iowa, May 22nd to the 27th. And those are our travel requests. I would ask that you approve them as outlined.
A motion for the approval of overnight and out-of-state travel as presented.
I'll second it.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. 3.2, approval of Show Low Junior High School 1819 course content book.
Mr. President, this is an annual event to prepare for the upcoming school year. I would just ask that you would approve the course content book as outlined.
I'll make a motion to approve the Show Low Junior High 1819 course content book.
I'll second it.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. 3.3, approval of White Mountain Institute Summer School for 2018.
As you're familiar, there are times when students need to recover credit to stay on track for graduation, and we offer that opportunity through our White Mountain Institute. As outlined in the flyer that's in your board packet, that will be June 4th through the 28th, Monday through Thursday, 8 to 3 o'clock. The cost is $85 per half credit, and they are required to attend 20 hours a week. And I would ask that you would approve this program as continuing to offer that to those who need credit recovery.
I'll make a motion for approval of the White Mountain Institute Summer School of 2018.
Second it.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. 4.1, approval of resignations, terminations, and retirement.
Okay, Mr. President, members of the board, we have some resignations. Taylor Coomer, who's our Nicholas Homestead EDP teacher, that's effective at the end of the year. Dr. Megan Dorsett, our junior high principal, which will be effective June 30th. Monte Maxwell is resigning as the head high school track and field coach, effective at the end of the season, 5/14. Robert Snyder, a grounds worker, has resigned, as well as Lincoln Todd, one of our bus drivers. That'll be effective 4/27. Also, you'll notice the retirement of Miss Susie Jaramillo. She will return to us as an ESI employee, and she has done that. That was effective March 30th. We also have one termination for your consideration. That's Eddie Morin, our high school JV baseball coach. I bring these for you for your consideration this evening.
I'll make a motion to accept the resignations and terminations as outlined.
I second the motion.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Item 4.2, approval of one special education teacher at Nicholas Homestead Elementary and one district psychologist.
Mr. President, I bring these to you this evening from Mrs. Marsh. We have been reviewing our caseloads and also the needs in the district. Currently, if we look at the school psychologist position, we farm that out, for lack of better terms, and the person who we've been doing that with for a number of years is now going into retirement, which is a great place to be, from what I understand. And so he is making that move, and so we're going to bring that, we desire to bring that service back into our district and have our own in-house school psychologist. Our need is there, and that will help. We can balance out the costs for what we were paying to outsource that service and to bring it back in. So we're confident that that can happen. Also, reviewing our special needs numbers at Nicholas Homestead, it does require that we bring on another special needs teacher, and that's why we're requesting those two positions at this time.
I'll make a motion to approve one special ed teacher for Nicholas Homestead Elementary and one district psychologist.
I second it.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. 4.3, approval of new hires and transfers.
Okay, Mr. President, we would ask for your approval of the following individuals. Robin Bella is a junior high science teacher. Shane Healy is the Nicholas Homestead PE teacher. Christina Jones is a fifth grade teacher at Nicholas Homestead. Peter Magadino is grounds worker. Jose Ortiz, high school art teacher. Amy Schimmel, Nicholas Homestead third grade teacher, Starla Stansberry as the Whipple Ranch second grade teacher, and Elise Taylor as the Linden music and PE teacher. Also, student teachers Renee Salmon. She'll be with Miss O'Connell at the high school in the English department. Also transfers of Laura Gillespie from the high school early childhood class to a first grade teacher at Whipple Ranch. Regina Holtz from a first grade position at Whipple Ranch to fourth grade at Nicholas Homestead. Janelle Trantham from our special ed teacher at Whipple Ranch to a second grade teacher at Whipple Ranch. Sarah Watkins from Nicholas Homestead fifth grade to a fourth grade position at the same site. And Tim Williams as a Nicholas Homestead PE teacher to the high school boys PE and weights. Those will be effective next year. I would ask that you would approve those as outlined.
A motion for the approval of new hires and transfers.
Second the motion.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. 4.4, approval of certified and classified substitutes.
We have a couple certified and a couple classified staff for your consideration. Donald Brown, Janice Cortina, Donna Freeland as certified, as classified, Susan Caltabiano, Guadalupe Herrera, and Lisa McGowan. I'd ask that you would approve those classified and certified substitutes at this time.
I move we approve the certified and classified substitutes.
I'll second the motion.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. 4.5, approval of stipends and volunteers.
In your board packet, there's a number of stipends for summer school, high school baseball, high school basketball. Those are approvals there. Winter sports for wrestling, boys basketball, girls basketball, and volunteer for high school softball. I would ask that you would approve those stipends and volunteers as outlined.
A motion for the approval of stipends and volunteers.
I'll second the motion.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. 5.1, approval of a second reading and adoption of policy advisories 602-615. Mr. Housley.
There are a number of policies that we've reviewed over the last month, and I bring those to you for your second reading and consideration of adoption. Just for everyone's information, these are policy advisories that come to us through the Arizona School Board Association. As new laws and legislation happen, they go in and adjust policies to reflect the requirements of the laws. Mostly Arizona Revised Statutes 15 is where the education laws would be. I would ask that you would consider the approval and adoption of those policies with the exception of Policy Advisory 605, which is a portion, because we have undifferentiated leave, we don't have a policy on bereavement leave. So it's really an unnecessary addition to our policy manual. We don't have that policy currently.
So I'll move that we approve the second reading and adoption of these policies minus policy 605.
I'll second it.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. 6.1, approval of 2018-19 salary placement schedules. Mr. Housley.
This is an item for Mr. Schubert.
Sorry.
So with the upcoming new year, we are already trying to prepare for new hires and everything else. So what we have before you tonight, as far as the placement schedules, what we did was a 1% increase on every position, with the exceptions of those that needed to go reach the minimum wage. So if a position was at $10.50, we had to move that up to the $11 an hour. So that's the exception to the 1% increase. So we bring those to you tonight for your approvals.
I'll make a motion for approval of the 18-19 salary placement schedule.
I'll second the motion.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. 6.2, approval of 2018-19 contract offers for administrative, classified, and school counselors.
So last month, we brought before you the approval for the teacher contracts. This would be the work agreements for the certified staff, or I'm sorry, for the classified staff, for our counselors and our administrative team. So we're bringing these to you tonight for your approvals.
A motion for the approval of the 2018-19 contract offers for administrative, classified, and school counselors.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. 6.3, approval of administrative, classified, and school counselor staff list for 2018-19 school year.
So before you tonight, this is the listing of all of our administrative staff, our admin staff that will be working with us through ESI, and the counselors that we will be having for the upcoming school year. So we're looking for your approvals on those tonight.
I'll make a motion to approve the administrative and classified and school counselor staff list for 18-19 school year.
I'll second it.
Motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. 6.4, we took care of earlier, right?
Mr. President, before we move on, I just wanted to point out that as we considered the raises and we went through all the process, I know we didn't, because we had to have a meeting that wasn't televised. We didn't get to have that on the televised portion for certified staff. So just to reflect out what those raises are for certified staff, that was, as the board had mentioned, those who were here prior to 2012 and prior, it was a 4% plus $500. And then those were here that were hired 13 up till now, it was 2% plus $500. So it averaged between 3.4 as a whole, all the way up to about 5.5% of an increase for our certified staff. As you look at the numbers reflected out into tonight's proposals and what you've just adopted for classified staff, it was right around that 2% increase overall, as well as 2% for administrative staff. So we are very positive about the changes that we were able to make as far as salary and movement forward. Pair that with what the governor said tonight, and it's kind of exciting. So
very exciting.
Yeah. Item 6.5, bond update.
So here's the good stuff. You guys have already approved it for us to get these things sold. So we're looking here within the next few weeks. I'm estimating 3 to 4 weeks, we will have $10 million in our bond funding account. Over the last week, we have met with our agent who helps us along with our bond projects, make sure we keep everything legal and open. We spoke with an architect. One of the projects we're trying to move forward now is on our school safety. So we're looking at architects to help redesign entrance vestibules, and that way we can get those all secured. So that is the big thing that we've been going lately. That's all I got on bonds.
How often does the bond oversight committee meet?
We met in February and we met in March. We've been a little longer in meeting between the last meeting in March and now, because we've been waiting for our energy efficiency audits and things to come back, so we have some things to report to them. We've now met with the architects, as Greg said, so they're going to begin to explore each site, what we need to do. We've met with both agencies that did energy audits, so we know what we need to do there, and we have some proposals, so that's all just wrapped up this week. We also did an electrical audit, specifically on the junior high, because there's some major issues there with electrical, and we have that back now. So we should have our bond newsletter out by the end of the week, first part of next week, and then we're looking to have our next oversight committee meeting. In our last committee meeting, we met and we specifically talked about school safety and the threat of looking out for school safety throughout each of our construction projects to make sure that what we do has a threat of safety in it. And they were very insightful on some of the things that they had in mind, and our project manager as well as the architects have that information now, and they're looking to use that to in their designs and moving forward. So
I really appreciate those bond pamphlets that you put out to keep us all abreast of what's going on and the update here at this meeting, so thank you.
Thank you very much. Item 7.1, ratification of expense vouchers.
So Section 7 is a consent agenda, so we're just going to go ahead and lump this all together. So tonight we bring before you for your approvals the ratification of our payroll and our expense vouchers, the ratification of our junior high and high school activity revenues and expenditures, approval of the governing board minutes from the March 22nd, 2018 special meeting, and approval of the following donations. Ripples donated books and magazines to junior high teachers valued at $1,709. Will and Jennifer Talley donated a metal table and mixer to the junior high food class valued at $300. White Mountain Firefighters donated $100 to the Junior High National Honor Society. The Show Low Youth Foundation donated $500 for a new Gaga playground pit at Nicholas Homestead. Another $500 for library books at Nicholas Homestead. $930 for Suzuki handbells at Nicholas Homestead. $378 for new PE equipment at Nicholas Homestead. $200 for a weather station at Nicholas Homestead. And donated $1,000 towards Camp Friendly Pines at Nicholas Homestead. Total donations from the Show Low Youth Foundation came in at $3,508. We bring that for your approval on the consent agenda.
Make a motion to approve the consent agenda, and again, thank our community for all of your donations.
I'll second the motion.
I have a motion in 2 seconds. Any other discussion?
What is a Gaga playground pit?
It's our favorite thing.
Is that like?
Is it already
Lady
in? Like we
Gaga?
can go see it?
Is this Lady Gaga? Not Gaga, not that Gaga. Good, good.
They have them at camp, don't they?
No, this has nothing to do with Lady Gaga.
I was worried.
A couple of years ago, the 5th grade went to Skyway Camp. And at Skyway, there's what's called a Gaga pit. And basically, it looks like a fenced corral. And we have one in the back of the school on the playground. It's painted in green and gold. And it's just a game that the kids love to play. You're welcome to come by and play with them. It's hard to keep them out of that thing. So Show Low Youth Foundation has supported us with building another one. So we're thankful for their support.
Thank you.
So with gratitude towards the donations that we receive daily and monthly, I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. If there's nothing else, item 8.1, adjourn.
I'll make a motion for adjournment.
I second it.
Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. Thank you very much for being here this
Thank
evening.
you, everyone, for coming.
Look forward to seeing you next time.